Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
A Monday boom for you here on One-on-One on 93.7 The Ticket. DP will be back later this afternoon, but not quite time for One-on-One. So that means myself, Dick Buckman, and Nick Sainert will carry you through today. Thankfully, there's no shortage of storylines as we come off this Nebraska football weekend, the blackout weekend, which was incredible. Hats off to the Husker Nation. I didn't think it could be done. I've got egg all over my face this morning, but in a good way. I'm very happy. For as much talk as there was about how many of the older crowd was going to be wearing red, you just didn't see a whole lot of red. That was just a perfect blackout. I don't know if I've ever seen a better one, especially for a team whose primary color doesn't have
experienced a better one?
No, I went to the Iowa game. They had a blackout.
Well, that's not what I was asking.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced a blackout?
I don't know if I've actually been to a Nebraska blackout now that you mentioned it.
Okay, never mind.
Are you talking about like drinking?
Yes. Never mind.
It's been a few years. Yeah, I'm not a big drinker. So.
Have you experienced one before?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's the reason I don't like to drink. Is I wake up, people tell me you did this, you did that. You got to clean up your puke over there. Like,
well, you don't like? Okay.
Like, I don't know anything about that. That might not have been.
I forgot that you don't drink.
Yeah.
Bach, this is my problem. Is that, here we are. I said it last week I can't remember the official or the reason that I said it or brought it up. But I've been working with you for almost 6 years now, and I know like very little about you.
Yeah, I try to keep it that way.
But why?
I talk a lot about it. My life sometimes on air, but no, I don't. I don't know.
What did you do this weekend, Bach?
I watched the Husker game.
Is there anything else?
Well,
spend the weekend with the wife and the kids.
Oh, absolutely. My wife's birthday is today. Happy birthday to my wife.
Birthday to
30
your wife.
years old today.
There you go. Said
goodbye to her 20s, so that's a big deal. Yeah, I had some lunch with my mom. I don't know. I don't know if there's a whole lot more to break down other than that. We hung out with some friends. But the most important thing was,
on a scale of 1 to 10, how exciting is your life?
Pretty exciting.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Man, I went to the Philippines. Went to the other part of the world.
Okay.
Here like a few months ago. That's pretty cool.
That is true. That is cool. Is that a yearly thing for you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I wish. It costs a little bit to fly to the other side of the world, and I don't.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. So
okay.
Maybe I'm trying to talk my wife down too. I mean, she's from the Philippines, so I have to tell her we can't do that every year. that's something that we have to you have to save up for a little bit. But
anyway,
in any case, it was. I thought it was just an incredible showing as far as the blackout for Nebraska football fans. Something that I think too with the game, and I know we'll get to the game here in a second. This is going to be a tradition, right? This is going to be a yearly thing. It was that successful. You think they're going to bring this back?
Well, I think it's tough too. I think that they'll do a theme every year, which is fine, right? I hope next year they can like graduate and go to a stripe. Like I think red and white throughout the stadium, striped would be really
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
That's going to take a little more coordination, but I think Husker fans are ready for it. It worked out perfectly. Let's not get it twisted. It worked out perfectly because it was a night game. And if this game was at 11 a.m., the blackout would not have the same effect. It just wouldn't.
No,
So,
yeah, and they've run into that problem before too. But I was like walking around downtown Lincoln, as the pregame show was going on, and I was floored. I was looking around. I was like, this is a lot of black. I don't see a whole lot of red. And even after all of that, just to see the overhead shot of it was just like, we really did this thing. Is all black in the stadium.
I will also add, major shout out to the students, because I think we sometimes forget just how much they can have an impact on the game and on the atmosphere. And while the other, 80, I guess I should be like 76,000 in the stands, how they had a massive impact, but the students getting there as early as they did, filling it up and having it. I mean, every single student was wearing all black. There was not a speck of red in that section. Things like that matter, and things like that are important. And so, yeah, I think Nebraska, they did a really good job committing to it as well. The fans did a great job. The actual organization, 145 gallons of paint is how much it took to cover the field in black, to do the end zones, the sidelines where it says Tom Osborne Field. 145 gallons of paint, which is kind of crazy to think about. Commitment to the bit, black balloons. I mean, everything. Yeah. It was really, really cool. Just wish they could have won.
Yeah, we'll see too, and I hope they lean into the black shirt side of it too. There's something on the field goal post, but for the most part, it was just kind of the blackout. I'd like to see that, but we'll see if they do that. One thing that could prevent them from doing that is just their performance in alternate uniform games, and the fact they lost this game, of course, 21-17. It's interesting. Jake Sorensen, very mad. Tweeted about it, talked about it this morning. I heard very frustrated.
I am
on the drive. You're not apologetic whatsoever.
No,
about this. I thought it was a pretty good game. I thought Nebraska performed pretty well. This is not a game over having covered the team since 2013, but specifically the last 9 years. This is not a place in the program where I'm incredibly frustrated, disappointed, one way or the other. They could have won the game, right? But you got a beat up offensive line coming into it. It gets further beat up. Your quarterback, if you tell me before the game or before the season you don't have Dylan Raiola, that significantly changes my expectation. So, to have a lead at halftime, to regain that lead in the fourth quarter, to have a chance to score with the final drive, absolutely. There's frustration that the operation wasn't smooth once TJ Lateef went out there. The timeouts. I mean, there's things in every game to criticize, right? Yeah. So I'm not saying it's without criticism, but even the way they lost, giving your best player the ball, a chance to continue the drive, and it just, he slipped. It didn't work out. But my philosophy would always be win and lose with your best players. They had, they even lost that way. So to me, I thought it was a great performance. I mean, you look at the pass defense. This was definitely showing that's not a joke. This is the number one total offense. That's a problem, right? I'm starting with the positives here. But I mean, the defense altogether, I thought, put more pressure on Jaden Miava than we had seen. I think I saw the stat. This is like the least amount of passing yards that a Lincoln Riley offense has had. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Even going back to his days at Oklahoma, not just at USC. The offensive line has been better at pass protection. They, as much as we criticize them, they've got a 1,000-yard back now in Emmett Johnson. So they must be doing something right here and there. I feel like you combine all that with the fact that this is, yes, you want the year 3 jump, right? But this is a team with a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, new special teams coordinator, 6-3. You came up short in a few games. Now, I would argue and be frustrated till the end, as I was after the Minnesota game. Yeah. This one I would place in a different category, right? You don't want to take moral victories, but this I don't feel like this is something that I was unexpected, and it could have gone significantly worse considering the situation again of losing your quarterback and in the beat up offensive line. So I just thought it was a pretty good effort put forward by Nebraska this weekend.
I was not frustrated with the effort. I will say this: a lot of people probably already know where I stand on this. I think that ultimately, when you look at Nebraska, there were a lot of the same issues that have plagued them this season that plagued them again. And it's more so of like, for me, it wasn't a situation, the fact that they lost the game. It wasn't even like some of the decisions on play calling that they made. It was a lot of like mentality for me. I didn't see adjustments made defensively, especially adjustments made defensively. USC did. USC made adjustments, and you could see it because not only when TJ Lateef got into the game, but even before that, USC was starting to really send the house because they felt like they could guard Nebraska's receivers one-on-one. This is why that's the biggest area, I think, for me, that I'm a little more concerned about. It goes back to identifying talent for me. Nebraska went out to the portal and they brought in Dane Key. They bring in Isaiah Hunter. They obviously brought in other guys. Cortez Mills is a guy that has had a little bit of playing time. Quinn Clark was out there in spurts on Saturday against USC. And Nebraska offensively, and I know I'm jumping sides of the ball, Nebraska offensively was not able to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. And the big play for me is obviously the 4th and 1, Buck. And you just said it, and I 100% agree with you. Put the hands, if you're going to lose or if you're going to win with the ball in the hands of your best players. And in the moment of that 4th and 1, in that moment of the 4th and 1, your best player on the field was Emmett Johnson. And the play that they were going to call on that 4th and 1 was not for Emmett Johnson. And it's that type of thing to where I said it on the show, and I'll repeat it till I'm blue in the face.
This is the 4th and 1 where they ended up with the field goal.
Where they called the timeout, attempted the field goal, missed the field goal.
But let me, I mean,
go ahead. That's fine.
Later in the game, last play for Nebraska offense, 4th and 1, they do give Emmett Johnson the ball and it doesn't work out.
Well, he trips over. He and Lateef, they bang knees.
Right. It would have been
blocked well. It was blocked really well.
Well, I'm just saying, sometimes even if you do, the call that
that's
you
what
want
I'm saying.
might not work out.
But this is my point of, I don't hate the decision to kick a field goal. I also don't hate the decision to go for it on 4th. I hate the change. I hate the fact that you called a timeout and you had go with
second
your gut.
time out of the drive.
A second time out of the drive
Yeah.
and a second straight play. Go with your gut and do what you just wanted to do. And I said it that if anybody on that play deserves to be pissed, it's Emmett. Emmett's playing at an all Big Ten level right now. A potential All-American level in the country. And you're searching for guys to have that mentality of, give me the rock, get the bleep out of my way, let me go to work. And I don't care who's in the way. And if Emmett Johnson wouldn't have gotten the first down, I would still sit here and go, no, you know what? You were confident in that. That's why I didn't hate the decision earlier in the year against Michigan to go for it. You're confident in that spot? Go with your gut. Now you have to understand the difference in game flow, and if it yes, of course you have to adjust to those things and those outside factors. But those 2 timeouts were incredibly valuable, and they ended up hurting Nebraska down the stretch when they could have used them, especially with the freshman quarterback in. I was really disappointed in all week, all season. We've heard the physicality that Nebraska wants to play with. And in the moments, sometimes in games, game-defining moments, you have an opportunity to assert physicality, and you don't. And you kind of once again, I'm not saying cower away, but I'm saying you just kind of go away from it.
But at some point, you have to also recognize where your strengths are. I mean, you want physicality, yes.
Was the strength at that time of the game not running the ball?
I mean, it
not getting a push up front?
But is Nebraska a team? And it's all the easiest thing to say, and you hear it from especially former players. I'm just going to throw them in there. But anybody it's 1 yard. You got to want it more. You got to do this. You got to do that. But you know what? The defense. It's pretty difficult to get those.
You were averaging 5.6 yards per carry at that time. You can. There's for me. I don't know how, and this is not me like saying like, I don't know how Matt Rule could do this. It's not that deep. It's more so for me. It's just like, I'm curious, interested to see how or what they say to defend the decision. If their gut is to go for it because you have confidence in your kicker, okay, good. Go ahead. It was the change. It was the change. Nebraska rushes their offense on the field, have to call a timeout because whether it's because Latif wasn't set up correctly and Heinrich had to motion him out, I don't know what it is. The fact that it happened is the problem. And if it's an execution piece, I don't know. But I'm also not paid to know. I'm also not paid to make sure that in those situations, whether it's Dylan out there or whether it's Latif, whether it's Emmett or whether it's Makai Nelson, whether it's Elijah Pritchard or Turner Corcoran, to get those guys ready. I told AD this before. You have 40 weeks, 40 of the 52 weeks of a calendar year. Now, sure, give or take, some of those you can't practice NCAA rules. I get that, right? So maybe that's being a little more overdramatic than necessary. But man, like I go with your gut. And if you, in your moment, the gut is telling you that, excuse me, Nebraska could get 1 yard, I think that entire fan base in that stadium would agree with you because you had been running it really well. And the statistics showed that. But if you want to sit there and say, well, the analytics, the data that we had from the first couple of quarters didn't suggest that we should go for it. False. Because Emmett Johnson was running at a pretty good clip to that point. Nebraska's offensive line was getting some really good push in the trenches.
They had a good first half. The second half, when that play had arrived by then, they've had 2 possessions.
Yep.
One of them was 3 plays for 7 yards.
Yes.
The next one was 4 plays, the fumble that Dylan got hurt on.
Yeah.
And then this field goal came after a 6-play field goal attempt came after a 6-play 20-yard drive. So they were somewhat disjointed, and this is not totally covering for them because part of the problem in this game was them not coming out and looking, like you said, adjustments or prepared after halftime. The offense at that time, in my mind, again, you can look at total stats maybe for that game might tell a different story, but where they were in the third quarter, I love the idea for the field goal. I don't love burning 2 timeouts. That's where I'm extremely critical of that possession. But you're up 1 possession on a top 25 team with a chance to take it to 2 possessions.
Yeah.
So to me, especially in a game that it finishes 21-17, I love the field goal there. I love the idea to go for the field goal. Mm-hmm. The problem is, again, the 2 timeouts that you burn getting to that point.
Once again, like I get from the game management standpoint, I know we have a phone call from James here in a second. My thing is, once again, I don't hate the field goal. I don't hate the decision to go for it. I just hate the fact that you changed what your initial gut was telling you. That's my problem.
Well, the other thing too is, and they've tried that Heinrich Harburg stuff all year. That's gone nowhere.
I have my own thoughts that maybe aren't made for the radio, the airwaves, and that's fine. Keep the ball in the hands of your best playmakers, proven playmakers. That's what I have to say.
All right, let's head to James here on the call here. James, how's it going?
Hey guys, how are you?
Oh, not
Thanks
too
for
bad.
taking the call.
Just dandy.
Danny, it sounds like it. So I actually want to go a little bit higher up, so 30,000 feet. My problem with the whole scenario that you're breaking down, Nick, is Matt Rule in the moment lost his cool. And if we remember correctly, you guys, I haven't heard you talk about this, so apologies if you did. I just got back in the car. Right before this sequence was the personal foul that wasn't called a personal foul, right? Mm-hmm. Our lineman played to the whistle. Their lineman turned around, shoved the offensive lineman. It should have been okay. They didn't throw the flag, and for the first time I think that I've seen it happen in 3 years, Matt Rule lost his cool.
Yeah, and
he was then. I don't think he was. I think he was dysregulated. Like, let's call it what it was.
Mm.
And so in that moment, like, you know, I'm sure on the headset, Dana is like, what do you want? That's the head coach's job. What do you want here? You want to try to score or get the first down? That's what offensive coordinators do. And Rule's like, okay, I don't care. Play for 3. And so he's not able to engage in that moment. He's dysregulated, losing his cool. And that was the problem I had. For me, it goes beyond field goal or not. It was, he was disengaged from his team, and he had to call a timeout. And you saw the TV. He's continuing to argue, okay, that's fine, but they're not going to throw a flag during a timeout. Yeah. And so if he's going to do that, if he's going to ride the refs, which is his prerogative as a head coach, he needs to turn things over and just say, hey, Dana, do what you need to do here. I'm going to rag on this ref that's on the sideline by the sticks. And then they go on with their lives and the call. And that didn't happen. And so then they're discombobulated, and that's what led to what you guys are talking about. So that was my bigger issue, was that he lost his cool and he wasn't able to coach his team in the moment. I just haven't seen that from him. So anyway, I'll hang up. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks,
Great call,
James. Yeah, that was a great call. Go ahead, Bach. I'll let you take that.
No,
first.
yeah, I think that's an incredible point that we didn't mention yet, because we mentioned there's 2 timeouts on the drive. That was one, again, the further, I guess, illustrating that Nebraska was a little bit discombobulated at the time. And that was an awful timeout. I mean, again, no matter that's really where the best question probably is there, because you understand the reasoning behind the second timeout. Yeah. It's bad. It's not good reasoning, but you understand why they did it. The first timeout, to his point, what are you going to argue a personal foul call after a timeout?
I thought that it was a lousy. I didn't mind the no call.
I didn't either.
I thought that Turner Corcoran, frankly, he kind of forced it played through the echo of the whistle, sure, but I thought that he kind of pushed the USC guy. He didn't need to, on top of the pile. Was it a bad retaliation by USC? Sure, right? Was it a flop by Turner Corcoran? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it looked like it,
right? And so I just think, like, we clamor to the refs, hey, keep the flag in your pocket. Like, don't infiltrate the game more than you need to. And in that moment, I didn't think that they needed to throw a flag there for that. I will say this, though. I was disappointed. If we haven't gotten an official answer on that, if you call a timeout simply just to yell at the refs, I don't know. There's some other things there. But then I think genuinely there was a moment to where they were so, as James said, focused on that that they saw that the play clock was going down. And they go, oh, no, we got to call a timeout. Then you call the 4th and 1. You go out there with Heinrich Harburg when your running back is doing well. And you have to call a timeout again. And part of it could have been because TJ Lateef was lined up. You know how you don't, like, if your answer to, or if the reason why you had to call the second timeout was because TJ Lateef was not lined up in the right spot, play clock was winding down. You know how you avoid that? Stop doing the cute, unnecessary formation, line up and go run it down their throats like you've done all game. Like, that's my point of, like, you can minimize the chance for mistakes by just doing the simple things. And for a staff and a program that preaches time and time again that they need to be disciplined and they need to be doing the simple things well, they need to play good football first before they can worry about everything else. In that moment, when you just needed to line up, you didn't really do that. You went against everything you've ever said. And that's what bothered me the most. Yeah, can you blame TJ Lateef for not being lined up and not knowing the play? Sure. But also understand that it's a true freshman in a game against USC. And if he's not lined up correctly, you know where he never lines up incorrectly at is the position he plays at quarterback. Lining TJ Lateef out in the perimeter does nothing. You're not throwing him the ball. Everybody on the field knows you're not throwing him the ball. I don't know. This is what you did, Bach. Look, we got another phone call from Dave.
Well, and again, I do think it would be different if that Harburg package had any success at this point in the season.
I don't know if are they trying to make Heinrich Harburg the Taysom Hill? Like, is that what they're trying to do? Like, that's a very lousy and very lazy, low-hanging fruit comparison. I get that. I don't know. Like, you have a team that runs the ball conventionally well. I'm getting told to calm down by old dad.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what happened. Let's get to Dave here on the phone line. Dave, how's it going?
Okay.
Good to hear from you. What are your thoughts today?
Hey, Nick. Hey, you've been doing a really good job at 93.7 since you started. I just want to call and say that too. But
thank you, Dave.
You know that timeout reminds me of last year at UCLA when didn't Rule call 2 timeouts and then he decided to punt the ball.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, you've averaged 17 points a game for the last 3 games. That's not going to win you any games in college football. That's what it gets down. You scored 6, 28, and 17. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, I think that guy before the caller, I think he made a good point.
Mm-hmm.
There was miscommunication on the sidelines between the coaches. I don't think they knew what they wanted to do. But, yeah, that's ridiculous. You got a guy who has 1,000 yards and it's 4th and 1 and you can't get it. I mean, granted, it'll probably, you don't get it, but, at least try. 52 yards in a slight breeze for a field goal. That's really, really sharp odds. But anyway, thanks for taking my call, and you guys do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for the call. Yeah. I like the field goal attempt because Nebraska's got 3 guys on the. I've been so fascinated by the field goal kicking because they brought Kunin in. They already had guys that could hit 50-yarders, a little bit inconsistent, right?
Yeah.
But the length is not. I mean, they got 3 guys that can hit it. Whether they would or not
2.
is interesting.
I would say 2. Hole and Kananen.
Well, Avano's hit a 55-yard is what I'm saying. They've had the leg before.
Guys that are ready to play.
Yeah.
Kananen and Hole.
Yeah. But either way.
I'm just being annoying here.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to the onion, Buck. Like there's so many things that you can peel back and go. Like my big thing of this, and Matt Rule is just starting to talk here in the next couple minutes, so we'll have stuff from that. But like my big thing, just over and over, is like what was it yesterday, or excuse me, Saturday, that like kept Nebraska away from winning? And maybe we can talk about this in the next segment because I asked the question on my show. More NIL money, does that just generate a win? And I'm very passionate in that I don't think it does.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. What was the biggest factor for Nebraska not winning that game? We could do that coming up next year on 1-on-1 on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to 1-on-1 with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Score big with rebates up to $2,000 on the Kawasaki NAV, Kawasaki's first ever fully electric personal transportation vehicle designed for cruising the good life. Be the first to NAV your neighborhood. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location, where they can't wait to get you set up for football season. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on One-on-One, breaking down the Nebraska USC game. Coach Rule is at the podium, so we will get to his quotes and all of that later on in the afternoon. But we did phrase the question going into the break. What was the biggest reason Nebraska lost to USC here this past weekend? A lot of different thoughts there, and maybe, again, there's a bit of a disconnect between myself and Nick and maybe Jake Sorensen there about how frustrated, and I think in just the fan base in general, and I think that's why it's been interesting so far, is there's been plenty of people coming on behalf of your side, Nick and Jake Sorensen, being frustrated, and then there's plenty of people saying, you know what, I thought that was a pretty good performance given the circumstance. And that's why when I look at like the biggest reason Nebraska lost, and again, we really went through the possession there in the third quarter where they used 2 timeouts and didn't get any points. That's a big play right there. Obviously, one of the bigger discussion points throughout this game is, would Nebraska have one with Dylan Raiola? So I'll phrase that first. Nick, do you think if Dylan stays healthy, does Nebraska win that game? Which, by the way, plenty to dissect on that. I mean, that was the biggest dissected play on Twitter over the weekend as well. Only 2 men outrunning routes. One was like a crossing route against what it looked to be a zone defense, or they had it pretty well covered is the point. Turner Corcoran got stood up, back into where Dylan Raiola was stepping up into the pocket. Elijah Pritchett and Emmett Johnson both failed, double teamed, failed to get a hold of the pass rusher number 6 for USC that ultimately got to Dylan and hurt him. So, I mean, that certainly could be the biggest reason, is just that play. To me, it was a lot of, and maybe this is where I come from being less frustrated, is that I've somewhat acknowledged Nebraska's weaknesses going into the game. So it's kind of like, okay, what needs to break right for them? What are their problems? The biggest reason why Nebraska lost this game is probably the rushing defense, to the point that you made earlier in the show. But that's been a problem all year long. So it's almost something that I kind of just say, okay, that's already an Achilles heel. How does Nebraska get over that?
And maybe it's their inability to get over it. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Matt Rule got up on the podium. I was listening during the break, and he sits there and talks about how it's going to take every one of them to be able to rally around TJ Lateef and rally around the defense. And I feel a sneeze coming, so I apologize. But anyway, how it's going to, it's going to take every one of them. And it is. I just ready to see it. And wins against Northwestern and wins against Houston Christian and Akron, they just don't do the same as wins against USC. And I'm not saying that Matt Rule feels like they do, but at some point, like I said it on air this morning on the drive, you get tired of being compared to previous teams, then do things differently than previous teams. And in this results-driven business, results matter the most out of everything. I do trust in everybody, because there's people that commented, Nick, trust the process. Give it time. Yeah, I get that. I feel like a lot of Husker fans, even the ones that are pissed on a Monday, have given it time. And this is not me saying that, hey, time is up.
Right.
At all. And I'm definitely not minimizing Dylan's injury and what it means to Nebraska. But I will say that I do view it as disappointing that Nebraska got in there with TJ Lateef, looked like they had no idea what they wanted to do offensively, that 9 games into the season, you still have not figured out how to improve the rush defense schematically, heart, want to, effort, subs, whatever it is. There's just a lot there. And then, the icing on the cake for me was once again, we talk all week, you want to be physical. You talk all season, you want to be physical. Heck, even the tunnel walk talked about it over the stadium. We want people to be scared of us playing in the third quarter. Nobody yet. Just as much as they weren't in 2019 and just as much as they weren't in 2016 and now 2025, teams aren't scared of Nebraska. Prove it, show it, do it, instead of just talk about it.
Well, and of course, the year 2016 was frequently showing up on the TV broadcast for 2 reasons.
Was it?
Yeah, Matt Rule and Nebraska had, of course, not won a top 25 game since then. That streak will continue. By the way, if you're looking forward to UCLA and Penn State saying, well, they're wounded, they don't have their coaches. I don't want to be the bad guy, but a reminder that since 2006, Nebraska has not won back-to-back road games. So that's what's facing Nebraska ahead. But to the point, somebody said off the text line too, and I agree with it. The rush defense, again, one thing, and that's an Achilles heel Nebraska has been working against all season. They've got to fix it. Part of it is, and I heard you talking about this earlier too, they're selling out a little bit more to stop the pass. And then this game, I don't think that's like this single game. I don't think this was a bad idea, right? Because USC has the ability to kind of light you up in the air. Nebraska was able to hold them down. This is the number 1 offense reminder coming into the nation, to sort of hold them to 21 points, the worst passing performance in Lincoln Riley's history, a guy that has 3 Heisman Trophy winners. I mean, all that stuff. So there's a lot of good in there too. But I think the thing that did cost Nebraska, and to the point of the text line, was the operation behind Dylan. And we had hopes that it might look a little bit better. It was disjointed, whether that be with Latif for the coaching staff, whatever. And so I think it'll look significantly better with the week of practice and game planning, all that moving forward.
Yeah, I do too.
But at the end of the day, that was also a huge part of the loss this game.
I'll be 100% honest. I think Latif's the dude. Like I'm genuinely excited. Unfortunate that it had to come this way, right? At the expense of Dylan being done for the year. I think Latif's a dude. I really do. And I think he does some things really well and gives Nebraska some creativity opportunities on offense that Dylan doesn't provide.
Sure.
Now, there's also, just as much as I can say that, I think there's also areas where Nebraska is going to be a little more deficient in maybe pre-snap reads. We can also talk about the ability to make changes at the line, adjustments. But also, like, I say this like it's a give and take, right? Like it's a give and take. I'm very, very, very much of a firm believer of that players take on mindset, belief from their coaches, especially young guys. We can't act like TJ Latif just because he's a true freshman. And I think this is truly just having expectations. And maybe the text line will say, Nick, you're having unfair expectations, and that's fine. But I think that part of that is understanding and really realizing, like, we're not talking about high school quarterbacks here. This isn't third string backup quarterback at small town school in some state that doesn't have high level of high school football experience, that didn't really pay attention in pregame, didn't really pay attention in practice that week. This is not somebody this is a Division I quarterback. And TJ Latif might have needed a boost of confidence in that moment. Don't sit here and once again say that you're confident in Latif and then not show that. And I think it hindered Nebraska severely because there were multiple instances on that game to where you sit there and you go, okay, yep, does the coach believe that we can do this? Now, part of it is the players just got to go do it on their own. They got to execute. But man, it just felt like some missed opportunities there to really assert yourself as a dominant team.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see what the offense looks like moving forward, because I did hear that from a large portion of the fan base too. Is pretty bland play calling once Latif did get into the game.
For what?
Well, he's a freshman, right?
I get
He
it.
was in high school. You mentioned not high school. He was in high school last year.
He was. Yeah.
So, but I mean, again, too, with that is,
but like, this is why you early enroll. Like these
Right.
are things. I'm not sitting there saying he has to be a Heisman candidate. That's not what I'm getting at. It's be serviceable.
Right.
And now part of it might have been because maybe he was just under pressure and he wasn't ready for it. And that's fine. But I think another part of it also could be if the staff wasn't prepared for TJ to come in. I mean, that's another thing. And I think that there's ways before the game to get ready and then the ability to make adjustments on the fly. And Nebraska's inability on Saturday offensively and defensively to make adjustments as the game progressed, I think was the reason they lost this game.
Yeah, well said. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. Nick's got to run, but we will wrap up one-on-one when we come back here on 93.7 The Ticket. Get you ready for the Adam Carriker Show coming up next.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. Camping high around 63. Tonight, increasing cloud cover, calm winds, below around 43. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm with a high near 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Copple Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Copple is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Copple Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at copplecars.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
There's always a new experience to be had at Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City. From events, adventures, wine tastings, or the Discovery Ride, you can never get tired of seeing what the property has to offer. Make a weekend out of it by staying at the Lead Lodge and enhance your stay with their special packages that include luxurious treatment. Learn more or book your adventure today online at arbordayfarm.org.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197. Assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is one-on-one, usually with DP. DP will be back here later in the day. I'm Jake Bachman, wrapping up the show for you as we got the Adam Carriker Show coming up next. We'll see what the big guy had to think about everything going on in Nebraska football. It'd be easy just to say the 21-17 loss to USC, but of course the Dylan Raiola injury certainly opens up conversations for this week. Not what we want, right? But at least radio-wise makes it a little bit easier to get things going as far as topics go. But this was just an interesting game, I think, altogether. What really kind of stuck out to me, too, about it was because you saw it in the pregame, you saw it even at the halftime comments from Coach Rule, is they were kind of talking about the defense and how well it had been doing against this number one offense of USC. And the thing that just kind of kept coming up was Matt Rule saying that as far as Lincoln Riley, he finds ways to score. I mean, they're going to find a way to get it done. And that's what they did. I mean, I thought that was kind of interesting, especially on the 2-point conversion, a bit of a trick play. They ran a trick play to get a big chunk yardage. I mean, they just dialed up a few things. Lincoln Riley had maybe kept in his hip pocket for a while and tricked Nebraska and was able to kind of score on that drive. Again, score on that 2-point conversion. And those were huge plays. And so you got to give credit to Lincoln Riley and what he's able to do. But at the same time, if you're Nebraska, I mean, it feels a little bit like that missed opportunity. If Dylan had not gotten injured, of course, what would that look like? Now, the third quarter offense was not looking all that great, right? But it still would have given Nebraska that opportunity. You go into that game and you say you give up, this is the number one offense in the nation, give up 21 points. I think you'd feel pretty good about where you are. And maybe that's the reason I do feel pretty good about how Nebraska came out of this game. Full strength. Does Nebraska win that game? They might. Now, on the other end of it, USC also did Nebraska some favors here. I mean, I think that's also part of the frustration we're seeing from portions of the fan base is that was not an especially well played USC game. And I'm not talking about the obvious that they didn't, have 700 yards of offense like they usually do or whatever, is the penalties. 8 penalties for 49 yards, some of those timely on USC. But again, that might go back to why I also am feeling a little bit better about how Nebraska did play through this, even though they lost, is Nebraska only had 4 penalties on the day. So you kind of won that battle. I always kind of think, especially when you're thinking of, is it a well-coached game? Yes. Again, there's going to be times where you can break it down. Using 2 timeouts on one drive where you don't get any points in the third quarter is coaching malpractice, right? I mean, that's not good. But overall, you look at penalties and turnovers. Nebraska had less penalties, only 4 on the day, and just the one turnover on a play again where you lose Dylan for the season. So kind of an understandable loss there. I just feel like Nebraska played a pretty darn good game. There's a lot to kind of come out of it and think, okay, things are heading in the right direction. I know Nebraska at 6-3, you would have wanted better. But I think that's a big part of this discussion too, is what do you expect? What did you expect coming in this year for the Cornhuskers? I had somewhere around 8-4, right? And I'm still waiting to see them win one of these games. The USCs, the Michigans, preseason, we thought Penn State would be one of these games that they're not supposed to win, right? A top 25 battle to give them the just think that it's all going to be fixed at once. That's part of the reason why maybe I came into this year thinking 8-4, and they're on pace for that to a degree, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Can they still get that done, win 2 of these last final 3 games without Dylan Raiola? Because if you would have asked me preseason, is Nebraska an 8-4 team without Dylan Raiola, I might have had a different answer. And so, I mean, the plot thickens. I mean, this gets a lot more interesting, not in a way that we necessarily wanted to, because we would have loved seeing Dylan get more opportunity to put Nebraska over the top. But I will say this about him. Through 2 seasons under Dylan Raiola, you've been to back-to-back bowl games. And you don't want to lower the goalposts. I know they're expecting more, but at this point in the season, this was where his season ends. That's a heck of a freshman and sophomore year. We saw clear progression from him this season. Certainly spells out in the numbers. And again, even in the win column where Nebraska was able to get their 6th win earlier this season. So it'll be great to see his return, hopefully triumphant for Nebraska. And it really makes it interesting because from now, you're not going to get any more tape. So what are your expectations for Dylan Raiola next year? you can pretty much figure those out today, right? I mean, you're not going to get much more data. So I think that's kind of an interesting part of all of this as well. Let's go ahead and take an end to the show. Actually, we'll end the one-on-one here on 93.7 The Ticket. Adam Carricker will be in. We can talk some more Nebraska, USC, and the future of Nebraska. Also, Matt Rule was at the podium and talked about this stuff too, so we'll react to that. Coming next year on 93.7 The Ticket. Don't go anywhere.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.